Good news tonight for anyone out there that's struggling financially, or maybe you're on a hospital waiting list and you need some urgent medical attention. Well, Micheál Martin has just came out today and stressed that he's going to move heaven and earth to make sure that you get treatment and to make sure that more money is put into your pocket. And if you believe that, you'll believe anything. You're a complete mug. He has came out and said more money is becoming available and that hospital spaces will be freed up for urgent medical procedures, but not if you're from Ireland, if you're from the Middle East, if you're from Gaza, if you're from Palestine. The red carpet will be rolled out for a select few. Medical aid will be provided to the most needy, and another €6 million in aid is going to be pumped into the Middle East to feed the hungry and bring aid. At least that's what the game plan is. It's called virtue signaling. Micheál Martin, Simon Harris don't give a damn about anybody in the Middle East, and they sure as hell don't give a damn about anybody in Ireland. Excuse me. But what they do care about is virtue signaling to the world that there's some kind of humanitarian people that actually care about other humans, which nothing could be further from the truth. Now, before I get into this story here, I think it's worth a heads up that tomorrow morning, all being well, I'm going to be talking to four people. Yes, four people who are currently camped outside the Dáil in Dublin. They've been there for 23 days. Tomorrow will be their 24th day there. They're on hunger strike. Yes, hunger strike at the back of the Dáil. What are they hunger striking about? Well, you may or may not be aware of this case, but I'm bringing it to your attention tonight. Survivors of Ireland's industrial and reformatory schools have endured unimaginable hardships, yet continue to face injustices, even after the state's acknowledgement of the harm that was inflicted upon them. We call upon the Irish government to urgently address this issue. They're at the back door of the Dáil. They've been there for 23 days, and unless I'm really mistaken, no one has came out and had a chat yet. Micheál hasn't visited those Irish people who are struggling at the minute simply to have care afforded to them that is being afforded to just about anybody else that comes into the country or not even in the country, dwelling in foreign places. I'm going to be talking to those folk tomorrow morning, so watch out for that one. I'll hopefully be recording something at 10. It'll be up by 11. Check it out and see what's going on. So the headline tonight reads, and again, this is just virtue signaling of the highest order. Ireland is ready to do more. To do more for who? For the Irish? Wise up. For injured Gazans, says Taoiseach. Taoiseach Micheál Martin said Ireland stands ready to do more. If injured Gazans needed to be evacuated here for medical treatment, what about that young lad Harvey, who died a long, slow, painful death after having pledges broken to him by the rat Simon Harris? Died an agonizing death while his mother and father watched him. Why couldn't he be afforded that level of care? Why couldn't he have been prevented from suffering and death? Virtue signaling. And before you think, oh, Rick, you don't care about people that are suffering and pain. Of course I do. But don't try and pretend, Martin and Simon Harris, that you give a damn about anybody in Gaza. The only people you care about are yourselves, first and foremost. Speaking of government buildings, he welcomed the return of Israeli hostages and said the ceasefire in Gaza will bring an end to the slaughter of so many innocent Palestinians. And again, what the hell does he care about anybody outside of his own family and inner circle? I say nothing at all. Now listen to this rat, Simon Harris, discussing the same thing. Of course, he wouldn't pass up a chance to get some virtue points either. Listen to him pontificating.
Ireland will do everything that it can to practically assist the people of Gaza now that a ceasefire is in place. So today I'm announcing on behalf of the Government of Ireland a further €6 million in humanitarian assistance. This funding will go to organisations like the World Food Programme, the World Health Organisation and UNICEF. It is a practical measure to help feed starving children and people living through famine conditions. I hope it'll make a difference and we stand ready to do more and to work with international partners.
He stands ready to do more and to work with international partners. Well, again, I put it to you, Harris, if you're listening and maybe one of your cronies are, they can forward this video on to you. There's 4 people sleeping outside the Dáil. They wouldn't mind some assistance. What kind of assistance are they looking for? They looking to have the red carpet rolled out, or they're just looking sort of basic assistance after years of torment and years of suffering in institutions that the state acknowledges were bang out of order? What are they looking for? An HAA medical card, full state contributory pension, not asking for much considering many of them slaved in there for years under the most horrific conditions. And here this rat is sitting banging on about, we're ready to move, we're ready to move, we're ready to assist, we're ready to send more millions overseas, while he steps over and drives past in his chauffeur-driven car, people sleeping in tents at the back of the Dáil. No 6 million for them tonight. No red carpet treatment for them tonight. You know why? Because they're Irish. You don't get as many brownie points if you look after your own first, do you, Simon? So here's Micheál pontificating also. We can't have one without the other.
Some children in particular from Gaza to our hospitals and to our health system in Ireland. We've taken quite a number already, but we would stand ready to do more along with European partners to make sure that particularly those in need of life-saving interventions or rehabilitation, that certainly we would play our part in that as a humanitarian actor in the world. Of course we would. And Ireland, has significant...
A humanitarian actor in the world. He said it. He said it himself. We're acting. Humanitarian actors. It's an act. That's all it is. It's an act. It's full concern. It's pseudo-concern from Martin. Pseudo-concern. Never mentions the record-breaking numbers of Irish children that are living in temporary accommodation and homelessness, living in abject poverty, kids that are dying on hospital waiting lists because his government can't remove their fingers from their asses. Doesn't mention them. Maybe if he flew them out somewhere in the Middle East and then flew them back, maybe they would be prioritized. And the thing is, what about all the other countries sitting in and around that area in the Middle East? What about Saudi Arabia? What about all the oil-rich countries there with no end of money and resources? Why are they being passed over? While he signals virtue and says, okay, let's open the checkbook, let's throw out another 6 million on top of what we've already paid out, and treat other people when we can't even treat our own. Set your own house in order first, Martin, and then virtue signal to the rest of the world. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying don't help people, but don't step over your own people in order to be seen to be helping others that neither of which you give a damn about. That's what gets me. It's the rank hypocrisy of people like him.
And expertise in peacekeeping, logistics, humanitarian restoration of humanitarian aid, or the protection of the distribution of humanitarian aid, which we've done in Africa for quite a long time in different conflicts. So we're willing again to play a role if requested.
Willing to play a role if requested. In other words, I'm just a puppet. If my puppet master pulls on my strings, I will move my limbs accordingly. If my master asks me to jump, I will say hi, hi, because I'm just a nodding dog. That's all Martin is. He's a nodding dog. Mr. Martin said, we have taken quite a few children from Gaza into our hospitals and health system, but we stand ready to do more. Again, what about our own children that are suffering and dying at the minute? Twisted and contorted, lungs being crushed with scoliosis, living miserable lives and dying long, slow, lingering deaths. What about them, Micheál? Do you stand ready to do more for them? We would play our part as a humanitarian actor in the world. Yeah, actor. He said it himself. He outed himself as an actor. Asked if Ireland might play a role in stabilization force in Gaza. Ireland can't stabilize itself. Ireland can't police its own border. Ireland can't limit the inflow or even stem the inflow of criminals into this country who run amok. How's he going to keep peace in Gaza when he can't even keep peace in the streets of Dublin or Cork or Limerick or Sligo? It's a joke. Ireland has extensive experience in peacekeeping. Not in Dublin, it doesn't. Logistics, not in Dublin, it doesn't. Protection and distribution of humanitarian aid, not in homeless shelters, it doesn't. So we're willing to play a role if requested, he said. Yeah, he's just waiting for that call. Ireland is to provide an extra €6 million in humanitarian aid, where a ceasefire has been in effect since Friday. Gaza has been left devastated by 2 years of war. Yes, so what? The people are all going back to rubble. Going back to rubble. More than 67,000 people killed, where a global hunger monitor said aid restrictions had caused famine in most parts of the 2.2 million people are homeless. Ireland has record-breaking levels of homelessness as well. Just let's note it down for the record. Taoiseach Minister for Foreign Affairs Harris said the 6 million will be allocated to Ireland's UN partners, 2 million to UNICEF, another 2 million to OCHA, 1 million to the World Food Programme, and the remaining million to the globalist World Health Organization. Contribution from Ireland to more than 89 million, with support this year alone counting to more than 35 million. Martin also confirmed that figure. That's nice. 90 million, pushing up on 9 figures, some nearly €100 million sent away there just this year so far. Sorry, in total, not this year so far. We're pushing 50 million for this year. I'm sure they'll make it 50 by Christmas. Mark my words. Mark my words. The blockade on humanitarian aid has resulted in famine and untold horror for people in Gaza. This is the first step on a road to peace. Now we need to seize the momentum and build on this. We in Ireland know how long and difficult that journey can be. Does he? What does he know? What does Martin know? Anyway, like I said, set your own house in order first. Sort your own children out first. Your own homeless out first. Make peace in your own streets first, and then worry about the rest of the world. And bearing in mind, like I said, it's not like Ireland's the only place people can go for treatment. It's a lot of very rich, very, very rich Arab states in that area that I'm sure could absorb the vast majority of people that need urgent medical attention. Hospitals are second to none. You wouldn't have to fly all the way over to Ireland and fly all the way back. It's just a suggestion, but hey, what do I know? And again, let me stress, not against helping people, not against looking out for those that are downtrodden, destitute, but not if they're hop skipping and a jumping across continents to get to here. And when they get here, there's already people here who are suffering as a result of this government who doesn't care about the people of Palestine or Gaza. They don't care. It's virtue signaling, nauseating, vomit-inducing virtue signaling. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Share this video, share this content, cut and paste the link, drop it into your group, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I'm Rick Munn. This is No Risk, No Reward Media, over and out.